Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to be focusing in on 8 things which you can note, which will tell you the sparring partner that you're about to do rounds with, they're no good. So just a few days ago, I put together a video telling you exactly what you can note in sparring partners, which is going to tell you from a distance, oh, this guy's really good. Today we're going the opposite route, and I'm going to show you some things which mean they're not going to be very good. Now, obviously, if you see somebody from a distance and you see them shadowboxing, they look terrible, that's probably a pretty much telltale sign they're not going to be very skilled. But these additional points will help you, and almost more important, I want to make sure you guys aren't making any of these mistakes. So if you're going through these list of 8 things today and you go, oh, I did 4 of them, eliminate those 4. Start getting yourself on track, because removing these will help you improve as well. And the first thing that I've noticed throughout the years that people will do when they're not very good at sparring is in the warm-ups, they're gonna do a lot of push-ups. They're doing push-ups, and you see them get up and their arms are all heavy, and I'm looking over at them going, that's a terrible time to burn your arms down, pre-sparring. You wouldn't do that before a fight. You're not gonna see somebody in the locker room before a competition in the UFC or high-level boxing or in Glory, whatever it is, knocking off 100 push-ups. So avoid doing things like that, because they tell me and everybody else that you don't know what you're doing, and they're also gonna make your arms very sluggish. The second thing which you can note, and this could be in their warm-up or in the early stages of your sparring, is they come out way too hard. If you see them slap their gloves on and they start hitting the bag with no warm-up and they're going 100%, you know they don't know what they're doing. If you're in the sparring round and they run out and they're trying to go really hard, really fast, you know they're gonna burn down very quickly, and this is just something which you want to avoid. You want to take your time as you warm up, slow and gradual. You open those lungs up, you get the heart rate pumping, you relax a little bit, and you go a little further with the heart rate, opening the lungs up, just relax a little bit. It's up and down, up and down, up and down, so that you're feeling really good and you don't burn out too quickly. The next thing, which hasn't really happened to me too much, but I have been on the end of it before, is somebody sort of talking smack before we get in. You can hear them over there, blah, 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 blah. I'm going, why are you talking about like anything you're going to do to me? And every time, I just wipe the floor with these guys. The people who are the most dangerous in sparring rounds or in fights very often, not always in fights, but usually in fights, are the ones who are respectful, they're quiet, and 100% in sparring. I've never had anybody come in and just mouthed off and then given me really hard rounds. So if you're somebody who likes to chatter before sparring, I would say stop that, because it's not a good look. The next thing which you will notice, which is very, very bad, and I've tried to stop getting people I do Zoom privates with or people I do sessions with, I try to get them to stop this, is they tap their gloves together. If you look over and you see somebody shadowboxing, and then in between, they're doing this, that right to me is like, you don't know what you're doing. You don't see the guys in UFC tapping their hands together. Why? Because every time you tap, you're in a terrible position. If the guy comes up the center, your hands are gonna bounce off your face. If your hands are really high when you do it, you can't see. You want to make sure that your hands are somewhere in this zone where there's that straight line down the middle. Your hands can move, of course, but they don't need to touch. So keep your eye out for that, because it's a telltale sign that that guy you're about to spar does not have a high skill set. If you're doing that yourself, which many people throughout the last year I've observed do, cut that one out. The next thing which you can note during their warm-up is, are they focusing on basic techniques or fancy techniques? If you look over and they're throwing spinning back fists, jumping flying kicks, spinning techniques, like all these crazy combos, it's like, ha, 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 hey, ha, and they're doing all that kind of stuff, you can right away go, this guy is not gonna give me any trouble. The people who scare me, the people who you should be aware of, are the ones who are just, they're firing one shot, they're moving around, boom, boom, and everything they do is crisp and it's basic, but it's going to be dangerous. Those are the people that you want to be, and those are the people you want to be aware of when you go in for sparring rounds. And I'd like to take a super fast pause to thank the sponsor of this episode, XMartial. XMartial pants, XMartial shirt. With my promo code Gabriel Varga, you can save 10%. Down in the description box, there's going to be a link to the XMartial website. They have so much fantastic gear. Give it a look. I think you're going to find something you absolutely love. The next thing, which I don't like and can tell me right away this guy is not understanding how serious sparring is they come in with the wrong gear. They don't have their mouth guard and they want to spar, or they don't have their cup, or they're coming in with bag gloves, like 4-ounce bag gloves. They're like, hey man, you want to spar? Right away I go, this guy has no respect for me. He doesn't know how dangerous sparring can be if you end up going hard, because let's face it, some people get knocked down in sparring. And overall, I just go, why do I want to do rounds with this dude? Like, he's not going to be dangerous good, but he could be dangerous bad. Like, his skill set is bad, but he's going to come in and potentially hurt me with something stupid just because he's being so flaily and odd. So wear the correct gear is a telltale sign that you have some skills and you understand basically the importance of good gear because of how dangerous this sport can be. The next thing, which is not good, is when you see somebody focusing all on offense. Now, I mentioned the other day that the guys who are really scary are ones who are very, very good on defense when they're warming up. Same thing here. If you're only working offense, especially even if you're not throwing like a whole slew of defensive moves, but if there's zero defense, it's all offense, offense, offense. You don't see them even block once. That's a good sign that their defense is not going to be on point. And even if they look strong offensively, I right away can go, they're not going to have an answer for when I start throwing at them or when I start countering. So keep that in your head, because it's something when you do your shadow boxing, you should be throwing in defense all the time. Very simple. 1, 2, 3, whichever hand is free can become your defensive arm. Finish here with an attack, and then I can go defense. And then I come back to attack, and then I go, okay, defense. And I can always just figure out whatever the last technique that I threw is, I can make that the start of my next combo. Block. And then I come right back to here. Boom, boom, boom. And then I go block. And I come back to here. Boom, 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 boom. And then I come back to here because I block. And that's just a very simple way to get this going correctly. And the last thing which I'm going to note when I see somebody warming up, doesn't mean they won't be a hard spar for a little bit, a little awkward, but if they're rigid, if you see them moving around and they might hit hard and they might have an awkward style, but when they're rigid, they're going to burn down very quick. They're not going to be super fast. You might still have to be careful of them, but their skill level is not going to be crazy, crazy high. They just could be dangerous for a short period of time. If you have that rigidity in your arms or your legs, everything's tense, yeah, you'll hit hard for a little bit, then you'll burn down. Try to remove that. You want to be loose. You want to be relaxed so this flicks out, as opposed to where you kind of get stuck at the end for a moment before you drag it back. So those are 8 things which you can look for in sparring partners, which will tell you they're not going to be very highly skilled and you're going to have easy rounds. And in addition, if I mentioned anything that you do yourself, try and eliminate that, because it's going to help your skill level rise up. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please give it a like. If you haven't already, join the channel, get subscribed. Train hard. I'll see you back here soon for another video.